start with our flag salute. And we move the flag over here. And since our mayor is here today, would our mayor, Greg Newton, please lead us in the flag salute?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody. Just quickly, our minutes from our September meeting. Those were at the September meeting. Do we have any corrections to the September meeting minutes?
Bonnie, I motion to approve the minutes.
Okay, Daryl's making a motion to approve, and I'm sorry, Don is seconding. All in favor? Opposed? Okay, thank you. All right. So we rushed through that so we can get to our guest speaker, because I wish all of you were here to see me, but I know that's not true. So I want to introduce our speaker, Greg Lansing, and he's going to explain, since he owns 400 plus acres, what he's thinking about, and you have a chance to ask him questions. We do this not because NHA supports or does not support this project. We do this, we have no opinion on this project. We do this so that you, the residents, will be informed. So thank you for taking your time to be here tonight. Great.
Thank you, Bonnie. Thank you.
Oh, you're hooked up.
Use this one? Can you hear? Is this one working? Which one?
Use this.
Oh, so I need both. Okay, thank you. All right. Well, thank you all for coming out tonight. Really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. My name is Greg Lansing, CEO of Lansing Companies. It's a development company, land development company, been in business 40 years. I've run it the whole time. Just quickly would like to introduce some other folks who are here with me tonight. Andy Pettigene over here is a project manager for me on this property we own in Norco. Brandon Barnett, who's one of your local residents here, and does our engineering and has become a friend, obviously. Is there anyone else from our team?
Robert.
Oh, I'm sorry, Robert Espinosa does some of our community outreach and so forth. And so, anyways, again, appreciate being here. We're going to just walk through. We own the former Wyle Labs property. It's about 400 acres, 430 acres. We've owned it probably 8 years in total, 8 or 9 years. We've come forward with some concepts. We've never really gone through a full process with the city. We've had a lot of discussions with the city. And the reason we're here tonight, we really want community input. We'd like to do something with the property. We don't want to be the developer that comes in here and says, oh, we're going to push this on you and shove it down your throat. We don't work that way. I've done this a long time. I don't want to do that. I've never done that. All of our projects we stand behind. Nothing's more important to me than our reputation. My name is on everything. It's on the company. So it means a lot to me to leave a community with something that we're proud of. And so we get involved in a lot of larger residential communities, industrial projects, and so forth. And so we've done a bunch of stuff in Hemet. We own Rancho Diamante, which is probably the nicest project in Hemet. We have a big one in Paris that we did years ago. We have Albert Hill and Lake Elsinore that we're going through, and kind of the north end, kind of the nicest part of Lake Elsinore. And I could go on. But again, we are looking at this property. We have some concepts in mind. We have some ideas. But really, we want your input. And I think the reason that kind of had a light bulb moment for me is we own 3 projects up in Jurupa Valley next door. And the Horsemen's Association up there came to us and at a city council meeting, and we were talking about cooperation on trails through our projects. And so we were more than happy to accommodate that and create a connectivity that they were happy with. So I think we came away with a friendly situation there. And that's really what we're looking at here. We understand Norco is completely equestrian. We all love horses. I love horses too. And so it's funny because I have 5 daughters. 3 of them love horses, and 2 of them are scared of horses. So not sure why, but anyhow. So again, we have this property here. I'll probably have Andy talk to you more about what's been going on with the cleanup of the property. Obviously, it's very important. That's number one. In short, the property has been primarily cleared, and according to our engineer at one point, they said it's better than when God created it. But again, I'm going to let Andy opine on that. In terms of the project of what we're looking at, so we came forth with two concepts, okay? Originally, and I liked this concept, but on the very west end, up on the knoll there, the very west end of the property, there's that hill, we had a resort hotel. Well, I'll have to stay here. Anyway, on the west end, we were contemplating a resort hotel, like a boutique hotel. Yeah, Second and Hillside, basically, up on the hill there. And so it'd be 80 keys, 80 rooms initially. There would be opportunity to expand it if it was going well. If you've been up there, it's a beautiful view. Ideal for a wedding venue, that kind of small event type of stuff. And so we think it'd be tremendously successful. If you look around, there's not really anything like it in the Western Inland Empire. If you ask people what's the nicest place to stay in the Western Inland Empire, I haven't heard any, good choices there other than Mission Inn downtown Riverside. But so that's what we're looking to accomplish. There's a couple resorts we can talk about that we're kind of patterning it after, but it would be, we believe it would be an asset. We would incorporate it as an equestrian theme, so there'd be a place to hitch your horse up if you want to go and have lunch. It would connect through the trail system. And so forth. So again, making it part of the community, the horse community. Then from there, the majority of the property, which sits down in the valley there, right, is we've looked at two concepts. One is a senior housing concept, not apartments, but small houses on small lots. I know traditionally Norco likes large lots, but when we did some polling and we went out to the community, there would seem to be some support for that because as folks get a little bit older, I don't know, a lot of folks don't want to take care of an acre or half an acre, but they still want to love their horse. So the theme would be there'd be a common area, equestrian center, where you could still keep your horse, but you'd have folks to help you look after it, train it, walk it if you can't, and you live nearby, you take your golf cart down to the equestrian center, or walk down, or bike down, or however you want to do it, and you could go and ride your horse, you could stay active with your horse, but you wouldn't have the day-to-day, it's a lot, right? It's a lot, especially I don't have horses now, but I used to have horses, and it's a lot. So that's the theme we had there. It was going to be, imagine, you've all seen the Del Webb project, right? It'd be kind of like that, but it'd be completely equestrian. It wouldn't be, you have a golf course across the street, so there's no need for a golf course, but there would be connectivity to that golf course, so the seniors there could help support that. And also, it would be extremely low traffic, right? Because seniors are in traffic patterns, seniors drive 1/9, they create 1/9 the number of trips that a traditional household does. So extremely low traffic pattern on that. The other concept we had, and this kind of came to us actually by one of the city leaders a while back, is you have the military base here, and there's always a threat that could be taken away, right, with all the funding cuts. And Ken Calvert's done a really good job of keeping it here, and that's important. But they have what they call the tech bridge. They share technology with the private sector, and in doing so, the idea is to set up little incubator companies. And so, I'm not going to say whom, one of the Florida council members said, well, if you had a business center where those technology companies could locate, then that would help solidify keeping the base here in long term. So we started down that path as well. As we got more into it, it seems like that there's, we envisioned it being much bigger. It seems like there is some stuff coming out in terms of technology. Some of those companies are locating, I think, in Riverside and other areas that have to be within 9 miles of the base, but they don't have to be in Norco. And the idea was try to keep them in Norco, but so far that I don't think has been happening. But in any event, so those are kind of the two concepts. It would be called a business park, but not big box industrial. We've heard loud and clear, nobody likes the big trucks coming in and out, particularly up Norco Hills Drive. We get that, right? You know, I always come from the place of, if I live here, I don't live here, but I love Norco. You know, I live in a horse community, and so I always come from the place as best I can as if I lived here. And so I understand, we don't want big trucks up and down Norco Hills Drive, totally get it. But we do want to develop the property, and that's why we're here. We want input. We want reasonable input, right? Other than take a hike, Greg, get out of here. That's not the best input. So when we talk about business park, we're talking about very low intensity. I don't know if you've ever been down like near Palomar Airport in San Diego near Carlsbad. Very low intensity, almost no big trucks. It's all kind of box trucks coming in and out for picking up tile or, you know, appliances, commercial appliances, indoor trampoline places. You know, those very low intensity type of use would be the theme. So those are kind of the two concepts that we have right now. You know, we're going to go through a little more technical stuff for a moment, and then I'd like to hear the community's thoughts on that. Both concepts would maintain a very diverse trail system through the property. We are leaving, in both cases, we're leaving 60% open space, I think something like that. Yeah, and so a lot of the property will stay open space. There's some beautiful trail areas, and one concept we looked at having some trail heads up on the hill as you ride east and then north towards Ingalls, to allow, you know, if someone wanted to just roll out and sleep there for the night. So those are the kind of things we're trying to keep and actually enhance. So the theme tonight is enhancing the equestrian lifestyle in Norco, not creating any detriment of it, not slowing it down, not being an impediment in any way. So that's our theme, and that's what we're trying to accomplish, and yet still develop the property in a profitable manner that's beneficial to the community. That's our goal, and we're hoping we can all collectively come up with a solution to that. So do you want to talk a little bit about the status of the Wiley? Yeah. You want to just go into questions and answers? I don't know if anyone, I think we've covered kind of a high level, and that was the intent for tonight. We weren't going to try to get into nitty-gritty too much. A couple of quick things that I'd like to say. The majority of everything generates traffic. I can't help it. There'll be some traffic. We're trying to make it as minimal as possible. But the resort we're talking about, there's a resort near where I live. It's called Rancho Valencia, and it's an 80-room hotel, so it's very similar in size. And I sit there on a Saturday, and the traffic is so minimal, and people go in to play pickleball, and they go in to have lunch and this and that. So the traffic pattern for that is intended to go 2nd Street to Hillside into the property. Okay, the majority of any other traffic is to come off of Norco Hills up through the Hidden Valley, and that would be for, again, if it's a senior community, that would be the majority of the way folks would come in and they get their deliveries and things like that. If it's a business park, that's still the main entrance. That's the main theme. So with that in mind, can we get some questions, please? Thank you.
So 2nd Street, you said where you live, correct? Do you live next to a high school? I'm just asking because on 2nd Street, you obviously don't live here. It takes me literally an hour if the kids are out of school. I got to exit 2nd Street. I'm coming up. I got to go past CarMax, which I don't know how that got built.
Yeah.
I got to go through the high school, which is all stop signs, which parents, there's no pullover points because we're horse property. So there's no pullover points, so everyone stops. Doesn't matter if it's a stop sign, everyone stops. You can't go around them. You can't do any of that, right? So now you're telling me I gotta go up 2nd Street and stop in traffic. Minimal trucks. We're talking minimal trucks, not semis, which we both know that's not true. There's gonna be semis that need to bring food, equipment, certain things that need to come through. Now we gotta go up past the 3rd stop sign. Now, is that Temescal? We gotta go to the dead end, right? So to the hillside. So hillside, left or right?
Right.
If I make a left that goes into your property, which I'm assuming, correct?
Yeah.
So those are all stop signs, not stop lights, stop signs.
We don't want stoplights.
Now, once I get up through there, so we're talking about an hour. What my question is, did you guys do a traffic impact and an environmental impact on a 2-lane highway? Not to question, say there's a fire or emergency, how would we get our equipment, our horses, or anything down 2nd Street? Well, we can't because it's going to be crowded. So now we're going to have to go around your property, which goes around your property, which exits into, anyone know? El Paso. So El Paso's a 2-street highway. So now that gets jammed up. So now we're just stuck. So now we're gonna shoot towards Hillside and First or Third. We're gonna try and get out that way, but we can't get out that way because that's already crashed and packed. So my question to you is, what happens if there's a fire just like we had Pacific Palisades, that kind of area, where traffic was jammed, people ditched their cars, and they were just stuck. You're building on a hillside that is prone to fire. The last fire was in
We're in a high
density fire area.
We can't even get insurance.
We
on
can't
our
get
homes.
insurance on our homes, but you're building this massive project with massive traffic that's already coming in. But say there is an emergency. We can't get emergency vehicles in or out unless you guys are planning on either buying properties to expand the road, or I'm trying to figure out in my head. I live off Hillside and Third. What am I going to do? Am I just going to tell my family, let's stand in the center, jump in the pool? What are we going to do if there's ever an evacuation order for that area? We get high winds. That area hasn't burned in forever. Whiteley Labs has massive contamination, which you guys say it's clean. I don't know, but I always have people outside my house testing the wells nonstop. And no one told me when I bought my house that the wells are contaminated. There's people that have cancer on the other side block of me that are getting thyroid cancer. But you're telling me the ground is safer than when Jesus himself came in and put it down. My question to you is, God forbid anything ever does happen, who is liable if I can't get my family out, my house burns down because you guys built a business and I can't get in or out of my property? On top of the traffic from the high school that is already coming down 2nd Street. Where do we go? Where are you planning on putting this many people to come in and out? Mind you, you're saying 80 apartment complex. We're talking about 200 hotel luxury rooms. On top of, you still have to staff them, businesses. All these people have to get there somehow. How are they going to get there? Are they going to come down 2nd? There's no main thoroughfare from the highway to get to this basically island in the middle of nowhere, sir. I don't knock what you're trying to do. I'm just asking you maybe a golf course, maybe something that's less impact to what you guys are trying to build. People sold these people before I moved here on Silver Lakes. Silver Lakes said it's going to be an equestrian area. It's literally a soccer field with concerts. And now I live where I live off Hillside and Third in my little area on a dead end. You guys tried to buy one of my neighbor's properties. He said he wouldn't sell in order to cut through to get into Whiteley Labs.
You said a lot. You said a lot. First of all, I do live near a school, and I actually had to leave this morning, and I was delayed 3 minutes, and it's a busy school.
That's not
Okay,
that's
so
us.
all right, so
And our streets are horrible just going to the school. They haven't been fixed.
yeah, well, not on me. I wasn't.
I know
I
it's
didn't
on
build
you,
those houses. I
but
didn't
we're
build
going to
that.
bring more
So,
traffic into schools and areas.
You brought up a very important thing. Fire. We all had friends. I had friends who lost their home in Altadena and the Palisades.
I have 4.
And this property right now is a big fire hazard. And the only way it becomes a much less fire hazard is when you have development which has tile roofs, concrete streets. That's when it becomes much less. It's a much safer situation for the entire city once it gets developed. The question is, what do we develop? And that's why we're here. So, majority of the traffic we're talking about, we're trying to make it as least impactful as possible. I could put a cemetery there, you'd have no traffic, all the dead people. I mean, I don't see that as being beneficial. We're trying to do something that's beneficial to the community. So we are studying all of that. Traffic majority is coming up, which isn't a lot, is through Norco Hills, Hidden Valley, Norco Hills. And we'll get back to you. Yes.
Just first point of clarification, it's not one school, it's 3 schools. It's Norco High School in the middle, on the other.
Stop having kids.
3 schools. And then on the other side, there's McKinley Elementary that's going to be directly impacted because literally it sits half a block below where your main entrance is going to be. And secondly, just based on the one commentary, I'm really interested in what kind of assessment or evaluation did you do? Because I can see from your website, you have one idea about how you were going to use the property. The meeting that we went to with the city for the environmental impact study led us to believe that you have, based on zoning, need to do this other second bite of the apple. I'm concerned that you really haven't taken into account the type of community. Just looking at your picture, my property is right smack in the middle. I'm going to have a 5-lane or some kind of parkway going in my backyard. And it's an island among exclusively residential neighborhoods. You're going to put a large commercial development in a property, in basically a neighborhood that was developed exclusively residential. So I really am encouraging you. I appreciate that you're here. It's very brave of you to come out and speak, but to do a more in-depth study about what you're really doing. It's an island among schools and residences.
I appreciate your comment. We do have roads and access on multiple sides of the property. And as far as we can tell, a lot of that would be improved to give access if there is a problem. I think there's also a fire station going in. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I have a couple questions. So I live on Hillside and Second, obviously, and clearly haven't driven it based on your response. I took you 3 minutes, but my bigger question is, you said you plan to start with 80 or 89 hotels, and if it goes well, you have plans to expand. To me, that's developer talk where I have plans to go bigger, but I'm starting at 89, and I'm going to start with this low impact project that sounds really great, but any project that involves access on Second and Hillside, I can tell you this community is going to fight you every step of the way, because we have anyone that lives there knows that you cannot have commercial traffic going up Hillside and Second. So you need to find a better access, and if your plan is truly to have a boutique hotel, I think you need to expand on that, and you need to show us, and you need to be willing to put in, if this project's going to go forward, that it is only going to be 89. But if you have plans for a bigger, you need to be upfront with us now.
I think I just was.
Yeah,
Was I not?
but what is your ultimate plan? Is it 500? Is it a 5-story building? What is your plan if it goes well? Or how are you going to go from 89 to what? But you cannot access that property from Hillside and Second. And I mean, we're fighting. I live right there. We've invested millions of dollars in our home. We're not going to let you ruin that. We're getting hit by Edison on the other side with large developments, and this community bought a church on 5th and
No, Hillside.
Hillside?
Hillside and
50,000.
We're trying to do this. I just encourage you to. It sounds like some of this could be good for the community, but you need to get way more in depth, and you need to really put your commitments, because 89 that could grow, that could be a huge problem for all of us. So I would just ask you to really consider, and go out there tomorrow at 1 o'clock. and try to drive up and down Hillside and Second till about 3:30.
Go in the morning.
Just do it yourself, and you're going to realize.
Go at 8 o'clock.
So, really
7:30.
because we want you to develop it, we want to do something good there, but we can't have you impacted. We're a residential community. We don't need this here. Access it from somewhere else, but not right there. It just doesn't work.
I appreciate your comments. It'd definitely be studied. Traffic patterns have to be studied. They look at when school gets in, when school gets out, try to identify streets where you don't have to impact, or your impact timeframes are different. If people are mostly going into the resort at 11 a.m., then you're between the school pattern, right? So those things are all analyzed by people who go out more.
I've developed projects and had traffic studies, and I know how that works. You try to put them in the right categories, but the truth is, this is a hotel that's open to the public. They're going to come and go as they please. They're not going to say, oh, the traffic study says I can't go between 1 o'clock and 3:30 because school's coming out. And if you go and look there, there's not even room to expand those streets. There's houses and horse shows right up to it. So if you thought that was a good access point, either you haven't been there or you don't care about the community, because nobody would think that's a good access point for a hotel. So if you haven't been there, you need to go. And I'd be happy to meet you at my house. I'll walk you through it. I'll show you what we do it. But if you think you've studied it to get to this point, you're way off, man. I gotta be honest with you.
All right, well, we will definitely look further into that in terms of the alternate route coming up Norco Hills Drive in that area. Yes.
You want to impact my neighborhood?
So I live on El Paso. I currently live on Corona between First and Second. Norco Hills Drive, in my opinion, is the only way. That road is like 8 lanes wide. It already has 2 lanes on both sides. You have the middle lane, you have the wide shoulder. You're coming up a Hidden Valley, and there's no, I think there, if I remember correctly, there are actually no homes actually facing Norco Hills Drive. And you already have this nice big wide road, and it goes all the way to the golf course. There are houses. Okay, is that correct?
Several houses.
So, but it's like, it's a much wider road than our second street. We don't have schools. Just a thought.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a couple of questions. So, what made you buy that land, knowing that the history of it? I'm just curious. I'm pretty sure everybody else is not curious. Because that's a big task to have to get the land cleaned and expenses and,
Yeah,
so forth.
no, what we do, that's what we do. We buy land in areas that we'd like to eventually develop, and we come out to the community and figure out what we can develop, and hopefully folks will be pleased with us.
The cost of that. And then you were talking about other ideas, right? Because you have the open space and stuff, and how you guys can make money. So what about doing a dude ranch? I've been trying to bring a dude ranch here like forever. That'd be such a cool concept. You have a boutique hotel. You're talking about having the senior stuff with the equestrian, which I think is fantastic. I'm going to touch on that in a second, though. Because I do know older people who want to enjoy their animals, the horses and stuff, and are not able to, they don't want to take care of all. I'm tired of taking care of my horses. I'm 53 and I'm tired. But having, since you have the open space, and maybe take part of that and make a really cool experience that people from the outside can come and have some kind of a dude ranch where they can, even have like a massage. You got the resort, right? They can go to the massage and get a massage. They can, the wives or whoever wants to do that. You can have a hoedown and they cook and breakfast and, they go out on a ride through the beautiful trails that you have and, or trailer them over to the riverbed and have them go over to the riverbed. So it could be a really cool experience for them to actually enjoy the equestrian lifestyle.
That's a great comment. Best comment of the night. We're done.
Yeah. Just one other thing. Now with the senior thing, I know over there, because I'm a realtor, so I respect that you buy land, you're here to make profit. So I don't think anything you do, everybody's going to be happy with. So trying to make it the best for everybody. Anyway, so up the 15th freeway off of Temescal Canyon, it was senior housing on the left, and it was supposed to be all senior housing. I forgot what that tracks. Tara. I just got out of surgery, and I'm on anesthesia. So
That's okay.
bear with me. I'm snoring my words. So that was only supposed to be senior, but then they allowed other housing. They kind of pulled them over there too, and then now there's, we call it regular family homes. So it was only supposed to be senior. And so
You might know something about that.
in the beginning it was, right? So would that happen to your development?
All right, so that everybody can get their question, we're going to allow you only 1 minute to talk. And so one person does not hijack this meeting. You get 1 minute. You've had your minute, Tony.
Okay, but I thought I made some good points here.
Yes, you did, and that's fine, but 1 minute is all you get, okay?
Good job.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Thank you. 2 questions. First off, can you tell us where the ingress and egresses are on your property, what you're planning? Number one. Number two, if Andy, I'm sorry, I don't remember your last name. If you could talk about the cleanup, what's going on, where the state stands on it, remediation, all those things. Can you discuss that? Thank you.
This would apply, the access kind of applies to both concepts, or really any concept that's proposed. The main access would be off Norco Hills, right here.
At the end of Park Street.
Park, yeah, there'd be a signal there.
Norco and Park, is that what I heard?
Yes.
The access to the hotel would be off of Hillside and Second, so only the hotel, not the.
We heard you. We heard you. Can we just do the restaurant there? Are we happy with that? We just do the restaurant there.
Okay, restaurant, do restaurant.
We had
But it's
proposed.
In-N-Out Burger.
No, not really now.
We had proposed a connection over on Valley, right at the dip, but the city said that was too dangerous to, right, that steep dip, and then make it a three-way. So this is not going to be a connection for the public. It will be an emergency vehicle access only. So that's your access.
Where's that at?
At Valley, by the,
Valley Drive.
sitting in front of the golf course, right at the dip.
Okay, so you will be an
No, emergency only. A fire gate. Crash. In case you got to get out, you can.
You said that the seniors wanted to go golfing.
Well, there'll be a trail. There'll be a trail connecting.
Yeah, we have a trail connection, but you wouldn't be able to drive it.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so.
I'm sorry. Hold on 1 second.
Mediation.
Sorry.
So to your point, the regulatory body. So Wiley Labs contaminated the property in the 50s, 60s, 70s. They used solvents as part of the military testing of explosives and whatnot. The solvents, TCE, went into the groundwater. So the soil is not contaminated, it's the groundwater that's contaminated. And what has happened over time is the groundwater plumes out to the north and wraps around. There was 5 different on-site remedial methods. One's already been done. Another one is about to be done. Actually, 2 have been done. Another one's about to be done. They planted trees in one small area. If you're familiar with the phytoremediation, so those trees are sucking the contaminated water out of the ground. That's what's happening on site. In the northwest corner, there's a treatment compound up there. That's sucking, all the water that's sucked out of the ground, both on site and off site, is going to that spot and to be cleaned. That's probably going to last a while to get it. Basically, what they have is they suck the water out, they treat it, and then they push the clean water back in. They create this hydraulic thing so they can keep bringing the dirty water back into the site. So DTSC, Department of Toxic Substance Control, basically have told us the rules of the road in terms of how we would develop over 32 acres that's been identified as being contaminated on site. And that's kind of representative. What you see here is the purple area kind of is generally where those 32 acres are. The rest of it has been deemed clean because